back to another episode of Doing Football. Today, we've got 6 sleepers for you. Myself, no notes. It's a scary time, but we're going to fire off from the hips. Avery Chenier, Jared Hall. Before we get into the video, though, be sure to check out the Lawnmower 4.0 from Manscaped. If you use promo code BOX, you will get 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Look, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Been a customer with Manscaped before they become a sponsor of the podcast. Great product, very efficient, Lawnmower 4.0. So go grab some with promo code BOX. Jared, let's get started. Give me who you have as a sleeper.
First sleeper, easily the best guy on anyone's list. It's Terrace Marshall of the Carolina Panthers, currently going off the board at an ADP of 182, wide receiver 65. Now, he has had a great preseason. 9 receptions, 181 yards and a touchdown, all with the first team offense. He has had one of the best just preseason numbers we've seen from any rookie wide receiver. And if you look at the most recent game, like this past weekend, Sam Darnold played 41 snaps. This is we got the most action of seeing the first team offense. DJ Moore played 38 of those snaps, Robbie Anderson 38, Terrace Marshall 23, Brandon Zylstra 3, and David Moore 1. So Terrace Marshall is the clear number 3 wide receiver in this offense, and of those 23 snaps, 17 were from the slot. So he's being used in that slot role, which we kind of saw in LSU when Justin Jefferson left in 2019. He took over the role in 2020, and he was really good. 74% success rate, which is 88th percentile, and an 88.2% contested catch rate. So I'm expecting really big things this year from Terrace Marshall, despite Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore being there. And I could see a very Chase Claypool-like season from him, where even though it's crowded, he's able to get on the field and produce really well. And with how late you're able to take him, wide receiver 65, he's going undrafted sometimes. Just make sure, even if you don't like Terrace Marshall, just make sure he's not going undrafted and you take him in that last round at the very least.
Yeah, the two guys he's running with, Anderson and Moore, have never really been high touchdown outputs.
Yeah, he's going to be, he could be the touchdown guy, kind of like Claypool was.
He could be the better wideout from LSU coming out of school this year too.
True. Jamar Chase looks like shit.
Yeah. we saw with Jefferson, so
yeah,
that group was pretty elite. Okay, big news today when we're recording. Mac Jones going to be the starter in New England. I think there's a lot of fantasy implications of that. Cam Newton obviously no longer part of the organization, so that speaks to you're going to see Mac Jones all season long in New England, and I think James White is someone that is going to be a massive benefactor of that. So he is a sleeper that I think you should be targeting, that I think is very much off of people's radars. I think he's going to come onto people's radars now with Mac Jones, but definitely someone that people weren't considering all throughout the offseason. In the last 2 practices that Mac Jones was, working, they were working everything from red zone to, from the 20s, full drives, 2-minute drills. James White saw 12 targets between those 2 practices, 6 and 6. He had 6 catches in the one practice and 4 in the other. We saw it with Tom Brady, how important James White is to the offense, and I think he's going to continue to do that here. Damian Harris I think he saw 1 target from Mac Jones those 2 practices I mentioned, and I think this will be a reliable guy, just like we saw with Brady. He's going to probably I could see him seeing close to 100 targets this season.
Wow.
As a receiver or as out of the backfield, a dump-off guy for Mac Jones, a reliable target he can go to. And in previous seasons with Brady, he's been able to score 5, 6, 7 touchdowns. I think he has a good chance to be an RB3 this season. He was at the RB29 in his last season with Tom Brady in PPR format. So somebody you should definitely keep an eye on late in your drafts.
He's done it for years. There's no reason why we should go away from it, right?
But also that's the reason I'm not really too sure on him, because with these late round picks, you want to look for guys who have high upside and could stay on your roster. And James White could be that guy who's just sitting on your bench all year and you never really feel comfortable starting him.
I think running back's by far the hardest position to find sleepers in. That you don't have to worry about a person getting hurt. You're an asshole if you say, you should draft this guy because the other guy might get hurt.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that. That's why you draft those guys, right? But saying it out loud, it kind of sucks. But finding upside from running backs is hard.
It's a lot easier.
Who's the guy that you take, Kenneth Gainwell, kind of maybe an upside guy?
But I honestly couldn't even name one.
Exactly. That's why it's hard.
Right? Yeah. It is pass catchers, guys who aren't replacing an injury that are running backs that you'd be taking are pass catchers. It was J.D. McKissick last year, right? As a guy that was fantasy relevant because he was a great pass catcher. James White's a great pass catcher, so
we could see it. All right, Avery.
Let me get into my guy. I'm going to go Gabriel Davis of the Bills as my first sleeper. Saw some interesting stats on Twitter about Gabriel Davis last season. 2020, he had 7 touchdowns, one less than Stephon Diggs. 4 games as a wide receiver 22 or better. In the weeks 12 to 16, 94% of snaps he's on the field for. 11 end zone targets, which led the team. So far this preseason, 5 receptions, 75 yards, and 1 touchdown with Josh Allen in the game. Yes, they brought in Emmanuel Sanders, and Josh Allen's talking about how excited he was to have him here. But I'm going to take on-field results so far from what he's seen last year as a guy he wants to go to. I still think Gabriel Davis, better option than Emmanuel Sanders in this offense here. I'd be surprised if Josh Allen doesn't continue to improve this season as well. Like we've seen that arm already in the preseason. It's like he's going to be goddamn good again this year, and I don't know why Gabriel Davis isn't being talked about as a guy who can easily outperform his ADP at this point.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about having like both Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders there. Like he might not be a permanent player on the field, but Gabriel Davis definitely has the upside, which is, at this late, you want the guys that have upside. So I don't mind Gabriel Davis as late as he's going.
Where you're taking some of these guys, most of these guys might be off your roster at the end of the season, right? Yeah. Like you're dropping.
You got to look
guys
for upside.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I talked about Gabriel Davis. Like I think the second video we did, and it was to your point on the like how much more he was on the field late in the season. And Stephon Diggs' targets last year were ridiculous. Like he had 30 more targets, I think, than even the second. I think it was 20 more targets more than the second best receiver. Like he's going to be keyed in on in every defense they play. And Gabriel Davis kind of plays a similar profile. I think he'll be more relied upon in deep targets. Of course, Emmanuel Sanders isn't really that guy. So I think Gabe Davis is an interesting play. And like you said, there's upside. Maybe he ends up off your roster, but we want to talk about guys that people in the community aren't talking about as much too.
Yeah, we know the guys, the sleepers that everyone else is talking about.
Yeah. Speaking of a sleeper everyone's talking about, it's my second guy, Marquez Callaway of the New Orleans Saints, ADP of 102.3, wide receiver 52. Now, he has been getting a lot of hype this offseason. For about a month now, we've seen reports coming out of camp that he is the clear number 1 in this offense with Michael Thomas being sidelined, and we've seen it in preseason. Like, last week with Winston, he had 5 catches, 104 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And that was in just the first half, maybe only the first quarter. I don't even know. But it was like his connection with Winston and even Taysom Hill has been really good this preseason. He had the highest receiving grade of any receiver in the preseason, 95.4. So he's looking incredibly good. And with how late you're getting him, again, this is just a guy who has high upside. And you get him in the 10th, 11th, 12th round. Absolutely love that. As a wide receiver 4 on your team, why not take a shot at him?
You got to think last year as Jameis as the second string, getting work in with him all season, right?
Yeah.
He's not getting first team reps. He wasn't really getting that many first team reps last year. So maybe that's where they
built a solid connection.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone's got to do it. And speaking of someone that's got to do it, Amari St Brown of the Detroit Lions is my second sleeper. Marquez Callaway has a chance to be the wide receiver 1 on his team this season. Amon-Ra St. Brown has the exact same opportunity in an offense that is sure to be passing the ball a lot this season, considering they will be at the bottom of the standings in the NFL. Jared Goff, there's some frustration with a lot of people. I don't think people really think Jared Goff is I think he's a serviceable NFL starter. I don't think he's a high-level starter in the NFL, but this team will be passing the ball a lot. Jared Goff's experienced. He's seen a lot of NFL action. I think there's a lot up for grabs in this offense, especially from the pass catchers. They just cut Brashad Perriman, which I thought was an interesting development there. So it's really Tyrell Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Quintez Cephas will probably be the three pass catchers. And Tyrell Williams hasn't really been able to stay on the field the last number of seasons now. The last time he was really fantasy relevant was that season with the Chargers when Keenan Allen was hurt. That was a long time ago. So I think Amon-Ra St. Brown, I actually really like his skill set. He's not a very speedy wide receiver, but we've seen some highlights in the preseason as well of his route running being on display. And I think he has a chance to be the leader in pass catch from the pass catchers in the offense. TJ Hawkinson, if he is going to lead the team receptions, would have to take a pretty sizable step. He's going to need to see over 100 plus targets to be that guy. He hasn't done that yet in the NFL. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he's a very hardworking player that's really earned the love from his coach so far in the preseason. I think that moves over into the start of the season, and I think it's someone you should take a chance on because he has a chance to be the top target on his team.
Fantasy football where you take hard-working players, right, Jared?
Yeah, that's all. That's all it's about. But I don't know. Tmack's planted his flag on Amon-Ra, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it. Like, and this preseason, he has not. I don't think he's been very good. Like, he hasn't even been with the ones most of the time, and that's the number one thing you have to look for in preseason.
Are you going to try to tell me that Amon-Ra St. Brown isn't going to be running with the ones this season? Who's going to be in there? Who's going to be doing it?
I don't know, but if he's not even doing it in preseason, why is he going to be doing it in the regular season?
Who's going to go out there? I don't even know who the other guys are on the team.
Not Amon-Ra. They're going to just run, like, I don't know, 2 tight end sets, put another offensive lineman out there, give the ball to DeAndre Swift.
They might target more.
DeAndre Swift might not even be on the field for week 1, buddy.
That's okay. That's 1 week.
That's not true.
You'll be fine.
He might not.
So I'm going to go another
His coach
USC.
said it. His coach said he might not be out there.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. Dan Campbell said
I
that.
think he'll play
enough
more
from-
snaps
yeah.
than Amon-Ra week 1.
Anyways, let's move on.
0-0. I'm going to go another USC wide receiver, someone who actually underperformed to Amon-Ra St. Brown in college. I'm going Michael Pittman of the Indianapolis Colts. T.Y. Hilton expected to miss multiple weeks to start this season, which is bring his targets up right away to start the year. I think he's a more talented receiver than Paris Campbell. Paris Campbell gets hurt every fucking year too, so that's another issue here. Very disappointing rookie season. He only had 40 catches, 503 yards, 1 touchdown. But in the most important game of the season, in the playoffs, he had 10 targets for 90 yards, which led the team. It's obviously the most important game of the season. You got to bring, like, when all the marbles were on the table, they were getting the ball to Michael Pittman. Yeah. Obviously, this is a different quarterback now. Carson Wentz should be more willing to throw the ball down the field than Phillip Rivers did. If he doesn't, then this might be a disastrous year for the Indianapolis Colts. He's displayed the ability in college to go get balls, win balls if they're around him. He didn't really show that this year. I think that ability just doesn't go away. You saw him in camp make the acrobatic catch, stuff like that. He's a very good receiver. Yes, he runs standing up a little too much. He's a huge body at 6'4", like 230. ADP of wide receiver 48. That is screaming value to me right now. Also, after week 9 last year, he was on the field for over 80% of the offensive snaps every week from then on, which isn't something, I mean, you want him on the field, these guys.
He missed time to start the year.
Yes,
He didn't get the chance to really
3
assert
weeks.
himself in the offense. Yeah. It was a slow start. I like Michael Pittman. His size is great. He was a highly touted player coming to USC, and before he got into the NFL, this is a second-round pick from the Colts. I think Michael Pittman this is another guy that has a chance to be the top target on his team, and he's going in like the 10th round right now. So
wide receiver 48. 4th ranked wide receiver strength of schedule, which is super easy. Takes into account straight the DBs they face, not just like the total defense.
Jags and Texans, baby.
7.1 average yards after the catch last season, which is the 3rd best in the NFL for a wide receiver.
Yeah, I like Pittman.
I don't know. I not to be another negative on one of these players, but I don't know. I've never really seen myself drafting him where he's going because of the other guys that are available there. Like, I don't mind Pittman, but when you got like Brandon Cooks or Elijah Moore, like Mike Williams in that same area, I just find myself drafting those other guys before
I'm taking
I take
Pittman over Mike Williams every single time.
You think so? What about over Elijah Moore or Brandon Cooks?
I mean, you can't. Over Brandon Cooks, I'm not a Brandon Cooks guy. He's obviously shown that he can do it. I'll take Pittman over Cooks, Elijah Moore over all of them because I'm an Elijah Moore guy.
Big Elijah Moore guy.
That's so silly.
Give me second round
we're
receivers
gonna get into this
and I'll
throughout
win
the
a
season.
championship.
No,
you're
going to be wrong about Elijah Moore.
We're going to get into this throughout the season.
You're going to tell me I'm wrong about Elijah Moore? That would break
telling
my fucking heart if I'm
telling
wrong.
me I'm wrong.
Oh.
That's what you're telling me, right?
Yeah, I'm telling. Oh yeah, Tmack's wrong.
Okay,
you're right.
It just. I think Corey Davis is going to have a good year. I don't not like Elijah Moore. I like Elijah Moore.
We haven't seen them play together
I just think you guys
yet.
are like a little bit like
Corey Davis stocks went up because Zach Wilson was on the field without Elijah Moore, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, maybe Corey Davis is the player that he's treating Elijah Moore as during the season. We just never saw it. So yeah, he got a shit ton of targets. He got a shit ton of catches in those games, but never saw him play together.
Yeah.
So I think the unknown is still there with Jets wide receivers. Corey Davis is obviously talented as shit. Everyone knows that. He's disappointed for
looked
years.
really good.
And it's nice to see him look good, but who knows if Elijah Moore just takes over that type of role as soon
Yeah,
as
we haven't
week 1
seen
hits.
Elijah Moore out there.
Look, get Corey Davis into your week 1 lineups on OwnersBox, plain and simple. He's going to see that volume that he saw in the preseason. So be sure to play the Superflex salary cap game on OwnersBox. Use promo code DREW9. We're giving you a $10 free entry. We're giving you free money. We want you to come play our brand new Superflex game, something that you have not seen before. No kickers, no defense. We want you to come play and come play for free.
Smash
promo code
that sub button
DREW9.
too.
Yes, of course. Like the video if you enjoyed. Drop a comment down below what you think of our sleepers. Throw us a sleeper down in the comments. And we've been telling you as well. Drop your rosters, your teams you've been drafting so far.
Instagram DMs too.
DMs are open. Hit us up. But thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.